Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Akirana Life. Today, we're going to visit one of the most famous places in London, the Victoria and Albert Museum, located in the heart of the city in the South Kensington area. It's an incredible place, full of history and art, and I'm sure you'll have a fantastic experience seeing everything we explore today. We'll start our journey in the first hall, which is dedicated to ancient sculpture and themes from ancient mythology. The first sculpture we encounter is Medusa Gorgona. The classic representation of this mythical figure always leaves a strong impression. It's well known that her gaze turned people to stone, and this idea is wonderfully conveyed in the sculpture. Next, we move on to the bust of Helen of Troy, known for her beauty and her role in the Trojan War. But here's an interesting moment. The next sculpture truly astonished me. We see two creatures in battle. On top is a woman with normal human arms and legs. Below is Meliacine, a creature with arms, but instead of legs, it has two tentacles, like an octopus. It's leaning on some strange sphere with one hand. This sphere seems to be some kind of technical artifact, but we haven't yet figured out its purpose. It remains a mystery. Next, we see less unusual sculptures, several images of people in normal proportions, as well as scenes from ancient battles. Including the famous fight between Theseus and the Minotaur. Truly exciting moments where mythology meets art. The next sculpture depicts two young men, one of whom is holding a torch. It's called Cupid Kindling the Torch of Hymen. A very beautiful and symbolic piece. Now let's move on to the second part of the exhibit, which features busts from the 19th century, or as we commonly refer to it, the 1800s. Here's a small logical question I have. Why, when talking about the year 1850, do we say it's the 19th century? Logically, it should be the 18th century. But despite this, the system is widely accepted and still remains a mystery. Next, we see an engraving of Pegasus, the winged horse, which is a symbol of poetry and inspiration. Following that, we encounter a sculpture of a woman called Eve listening to the voice of Adam. But honestly, to me, this sculpture seems to resemble more of an ancient woman. We also come across an interesting sculpture called Pandora, depicting a woman in Roman attire holding a box in her hands. The museum is quite crowded today, but despite this, I'm able to observe many details of the sculptures. For example, The next sculpture shows a man with a crown on his head and a strange object in his right hand. Interestingly, there are letters scratched into the monument, and if you look closely, they seem to differ slightly in style from the artwork itself. This creates an interesting contrast between the artist's craftsmanship and the later changes made to the monument. Next, we encounter a sculpture called Sunna. It's very interesting in its composition and expressiveness. Finally, we conclude our tour with the sculpture, Apollo and Mars. They are fighting, but unlike many other works of antiquity, here the artist didn't just capture the battle, but infused this moment with something deeper, something philosophical. To finish, we see a few other sculptures depicting episodes from ancient mythology, such as a playing boy, and other works that immerse us in the atmosphere of antiquity. And that concludes our exploration of the first part of one of the most impressive collections of ancient sculpture at the Victoria and Albert Museum. I hope you found it interesting and that you felt like part of this amazing world of art. Thank you for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. See you in the next episode, where we'll continue exploring culture and art from around the world. Until next time.